Hi you all. Okay, I'm coming to you all with a story time today, and I'm definitely going to try to make it not one of those really long videos, but as you see from the title, shit got crazy. And I know y'all want to know how it got crazy, so I'm going to kind of guide you all into what happened really quick. Y'all been following my story. You saw my last roommate video. You know what happened. You know, she was actually part of the reason my apartment got robbed. I didn't tell you all that, but and you all called it. But so, you know, that happened, and so she ended up moving out. So me and Jasmine were on an immediate hunt to find a new roommate. So we decided we were going to conduct roommate interviews. Now I know y'all might think that's extra, but the reason we had to was just because we didn't want another crazy. I mean, that was the thing. We just didn't want another crazy person living with us. So we took the initiative to kind of write down just some basic rules, just not having people in the house when we're not there. You know, just not giving away the password to the security system, things like that. Nothing crazy. It wasn't no like, this is when you have to clean up, this is quiet hours. It wasn't rules like that. It was just some simple house rules. We ended up interviewing about 6 girls. They all came to look at the apartment and everything, and we narrowed it down to 2. One of them was one of Jasmine's classmates, and the other one was a girl that braids our hair. It was her best friend. Now originally we didn't even think to even pick this girl. We were just gonna interview her to be nice, only because we knew who her friends were and everything, and we just figured they were going to be really loud all the time, and we just didn't want that. But after we interviewed her, we were definitely like, yeah, she definitely gets what we went through, because she kind of went through some of that with her previous roommates. So, you know, when it came down to it, we actually weren't going to pick her. We were going to pick the other girl, but we didn't pick the other girl because she couldn't move in as soon as her. So we ended up picking her. Now for the first couple months, it was cool. Like, it was really cool. There was not really an issue. She paid things on time. She was real cool. You know, I fucked with her. Closer to January, closer to the end of January, it got to the point where she would play her music super loud at 7 and 8 o'clock in the morning, and like late at like 11 and 12 o'clock at night, knowing we have class in the morning. It wasn't an issue on weekends. It was just the fact that it was so early and so late at night, and our walls are paper thin, and she's right next to Jasmine. Jasmine was the one who was really upset about it, because she lived right next to her, so she could hear it more than I could. I'm down the hall and they're literally right next to each other. So she would tell her about it, but it was like the music actually never ended up getting turned down. So from there we decided we wanted to let her hear it. So one day while we were watching TV and, you know, she's blasting the music, we had her come out to hear it, and I don't know if she still really heard how loud it was, but you know, we were just trying to work with her. Then we ended up having a house meeting about it and kind of telling her like it's becoming like excessive, like, you know, the music's always loud. And honey, on repeat, Sex With Me by Rihanna on repeat non-stop. That's all you heard in this damn house in the morning. And so yeah, we kept telling her, and honestly, I'm be honest with y'all, it never changed. Like, from the whole time she was here, it never changed. It almost got to a point like, why even keep telling her about it? It's not gonna change. We'll just wait until she leaves. From there, like I said, we just kind of decided we were gonna brush it off. The music was still really loud, but we decided to just brush it off because there was nothing we could do about it. She wasn't hearing it, she wasn't understanding, and so it just kind of is what it kind of is what it is, right? And so there was another time Jasmine saw her tongue ring on our kitchen counter, and she texted her and was like, yeah, like, that's like unsanitary, like, can you basically not do that anymore? She immediately called her and she was like, do you have a problem with me? And we just kind of like, why would she even say that? And from there, it was kind of tension, because it was like, it was almost like you couldn't tell her anything. It wasn't like before, because when she first moved in, she was literally asking us to have people over, which wasn't, I mean, we were just kind of like, girl, yeah, you can have somebody over, like, that's not a big deal, you don't have to ask us permission. But it was like she was always asking to do stuff, and then when she got more comfortable, it was like, shit, you know, whatever. And so, you know, it actually came to a point where It was in March, and it was spring break. It was, well, the week after spring break. She wanted her friend to stay the whole week there. Now normally, y'all, when I tell y'all, this would not have been a problem. In all honesty, it would not have been a problem if she would have asked. But when she brought it to us, it was like she was telling us. And then I asked her if she was asking or telling us, and she was like, she's telling us. And I was like, well, okay, we already discussed this in the house rules when we had the meeting, that people couldn't stay more than 2 or 3 days a week because it's gonna look like they're staying there, like my last roommate had people there like that. And so, I mean, it would be nice to be asked about it instead of told, well, this is what I'm gonna do and y'all just gonna have to deal with it. No, because even though, like I said, my name is on the lease, I don't do that. I feel like I ain't never had people over when other people aren't over. Like, I respect the rules. Like, I feel like everybody else should. I feel like it shouldn't be one of those things where we just have to deal with something. So I was kind of like, well, is she gonna pay us? She was like, you're kidding me, right? I was like, no, I'm not actually. Like, is she gonna pay us? Because you're telling us she's gonna stay here, so like, is she gonna pay us? Because you done basically told this girl she's coming down here and we just gotta deal with it. And she was like, no. So after that, it was the end of it. It wasn't really any tension between me and her, because I genuinely liked her. Like, I always genuinely like people. I really liked her. The music thing, of course, was annoying. That situation was annoying, but it wasn't nothing to make me not want to talk to her and not like her. And so finally, we get to the point where it's about time for her to leave. She's gonna be leaving in a few weeks. So this is April, and she's gonna be leaving in a few weeks because she moves out in May, the beginning of May. And so, you know, I go into the kitchen one day and I noticed that there's 2 bags of stinky trash in the living room, and also all of me and Jasmine's dishes. They're all me and hers. Our roommate really didn't bring anything, but she would use our dishes, and then she would separate them from the dishes she used and the dishes we use, but they were all our dishes. And I was just kind of like, just clean them all. Like, they weren't a lot of dishes, or just pop them in the dishwasher. Don't separate them and just clean the ones that you use. Like, just clean them all. Like, we did that for her, and that was already discussed in the meeting. When I tell you everything that I'm telling you all was all discussed. It wasn't no thing like we blindsided her. Everything was discussed. I told her, this is what I told her. I was like, blank, I'm not gonna say her name, blank, if you're not going to take out the trash after you get done cleaning, can you please put it back in the kitchen? I don't even know if I said please. I said, can you put it back in the kitchen? And if you're gonna just wash the dishes of ours that you use, then just use your own stuff. Y'all, when I tell you, I should have never said that to this girl, because this girl lost her mind. She got so mad. We were going back and forth in text message. She actually rewrote the text message that I sent her a nicer way to say it. And I'm just like, I don't have time for this. Like, she's about to leave. Like, and that's what the beginning of my message said. Like, I know you're about to leave, but can you know, but it was just like, girl, it's like you can't tell her nothing. Like, what are you so upset about? You could have just been like, all right. I mean, like, it's our stuff. I can tell you that I don't want you to use my stuff. I can, because it's mine, you know. And as far as the trash don't belong in the living room, period. It shouldn't be not one of those points where you can't tell nobody nothing without them going crazy. So from there, it was immediate tension. She's on Snapchat talking about us. Apparently one of our friends told us she took a picture of the trash and said she lived with dirty bitches, but immediately deleted it. And when we asked her about it, she didn't know what nobody was talking about. And it was just tension, like, from there. As I told her that my brother was going to be moving in early to find a job, and so he was just going to be sleeping on the couch. Mind you, my brother's name is on the lease, so he technically still lives there, so he can come whenever he wants. But you know, this was just probably a week before she was leaving, and I was just letting her know he's gonna be on the couch. She's like, is he gonna give me money? I'm like, why the hell would he give you money? You already paid your stuff. Worry about yourself. And no, the difference between me and him and you is that Our names are on the lease and yours aren't. So you can't be telling nobody that they can't stay here, that they gotta pay you like it's your apartment. You're subleasing through me. And so basically that turned into another thing. She's like, you don't have to talk to me like that. Look, I'm gonna admit, maybe sometimes the way I talk to people is off, but I feel like sometimes people should really stop saying stupid stuff to me that you know you're gonna get a reaction out of me for. Well, how did you want me to respond to that, you know? And so, you know, from there, she had an attitude. We got on the phone, went back and forth on the phone. She came home slamming stuff around, was like, you don't have to talk to people like that. And I'm like, I'm sorry you feel that way. And you know, she's still going off, calling us ugly, and then slams the door and is like, we'll talk about this later. And we just laughing like, girl, girl bye, like no, goodbye. She walked around her not talking, which was also one of the things we talked about. It was like, if we ever get into it, we should be able to talk about anything. It shouldn't be to the point where we're walking around here not talking to each other. But yeah, she just walking around not talking, which was fine. So naturally, when she had all that attitude or whatever, I was like, you know, because she was showing her friends our text message, showing everybody our stuff, and making it seem like we're so mean to her. I'm like, that's fine. You can leave at the end of the month, because technically she didn't pay for May. So you're technically supposed to be out by the 1st anyway. But I was going to let her stay until the 7th without having to pay anything, because that's when our finals were over. So I was just like, honestly, you could just leave on the 30th, because, you know, since it's such a big deal and we've been so mean and horrible to you since you've been here, you can leave. So it was agreed that she was gonna leave on April 30th. I texted her a couple days before that. I was like, yeah, can you have your stuff out by 11:59, you know, on April 30th or whatever. That night there was a huge storm, the power went out. And so me and Jasmine went to go get a hotel, and she ended up trying to move her stuff out at like 11:40, and which made no sense, because how are you gonna move all that stuff out in that short amount of time? She actually had just started packing that day. And so she didn't end up getting all her stuff out. She texted me in the morning and said, well, she's gonna get her stuff later. And I'm like, well, what's later? She never texted me back. I was like, I asked you what's later, because we changed the alarm and you're not gonna have the password, so what's later? She told me like 9. So 9 comes around and she's still not there. I text her and I was like, okay, like it's 10 o'clock now, and we don't want to be waiting all night, so like what time are you coming? And she was like, well, I wasn't gonna move my stuff out in the dark, so but I'm here now. And I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine. So she comes in, the alarm goes off. She automatically says something under her breath like, I just told her that I was coming in, blah blah blah. The other thing is, the power went out, nothing was working, and I guess she decided to wash her sheets. So she had her sheets that were, you know, basically in the washing machine. They weren't soaking wet, but they were still wet. I just put it in her room, because honey, I'm sorry, you're supposed to move out yesterday. Like, that's far from being my issue anymore. You know, we're not friends, so I don't know why you would think I would even dry your stuff in the first place. You know, I'm sitting in my room as she's getting the rest of her stuff out, and I hear her and her friend's like, they're so rude. She's like, yeah, I know, they're just so rude for putting my stuff down like that. And so I immediately start walking out, and they're already walking out of the door, and some trash that she had left, she's like, I should just keep this outside. So I automatically go to Jasmine's room, and I'm like, okay, so they're out there talking shit. And we both come out there, and then I go outside, and I'm like, they leave the trash in front of the door. And so I'm like, are y'all gonna take this trash? And her uncle, who's helping her move, is like, yeah. So they take the trash, they go and everything, and that's it. When they leave, I get on Snapchat, post a video of the room, and I'm like, finally, there's no one living here anymore. When I tell y'all, that struck a damn nerve, because this girl was snapping about us the whole time we was having arguments. But the minute I didn't even say her name, I snapped an empty room, she got upset. So she calls me and starts going off and saying, Deanna, you are just so fucking petty. You are so petty. I was like, but you've been snapping about me the whole time, and you're mad because I snapped an empty room. Like, I'm sorry. And we're going back and forth. Turns into a screaming match, and I hang up the phone. She texts me and she's like, so what's up? I call her and I'm like, you do know where I live. You just walked out of here, so what do you mean what's up? You can feel free to come here. So I'm sitting here in my Timbs, my fucking weave tied up, just waiting. I'm literally waiting for an hour. And you know, as I look outside, there's a bunch of niggas outside. Not like a bunch, but there's about 4 or 5 niggas outside in their cars or whatever. And I see the cops driving around, circling the neighborhood, because there's some guys outside. Now, she didn't bring these guys. It's just that there was just niggas outside. So I'm just like, okay, look, this is the issue. She gonna have to come in here and fight, because I'm not finna fight outside in front of all these dudes. Like, first of all, one, we too grown for this anyway. I mean, let me make that clear. I don't usually do stuff like this. I don't. We're getting too old for the fighting stuff. So, of course, this whole situation is really immature. But what I look like backing down from some shit and she wanna fight, you know? So I'm like, look, she wanna fight. She gonna have to come inside. When she finally comes after an hour, I'm like, yeah, you can come inside and fight me, because first of all, I feel like if you want to fight, you'll fight anywhere. You were here for 5 months, so what's the difference? You can fight in this empty ass room you just cleaned out. We can fight in here, because if we fighting outside, I'm not getting arrested. We're over the age to be getting off with some shit like this. You know, we're gonna be fighting in public. So no, I'm not getting arrested for nobody. You can come and fight inside. He's like, no, you need to come outside. You need to come outside. I was like, no, you need to come inside. First of all, you're the one that wants to fight, so come inside and fight me, because this is what you wanted. Like, I mean, come inside. So she knocks on the door. My brother automatically comes outside, because he's like, this shit not going down, not while I live here. You know, like, y'all too old for this, y'all petty, all this stuff. And you know, I come outside and this little 90-pound little girl is jumping around. I wanna fight, I wanna fight. Like, I'm sorry, it was the funniest thing, but I was just like, when it's time to fight, I just have this whole calm over my face. It's just like, I was just looking at her like what the hell. And so all her friends are there. She has 3 other friends with her. They're all dressed ready to fight, so clearly they knew what was gonna happen to their friend. Like, come on, she 90 pounds, I'm well over that. I could probably fit 2 of her in me. So, like, come on. This is not going to be a fair fight, clearly. So, you brought all of your friends to come and try to fight me as well. And then one of her friends got a damn bag in her hand. What you need a bag for to fight? Come on, I'm not stupid. And so they're like, no, she's not coming in. She's not coming in. I was like, y'all all welcome to come in. Like, it's nothing. Like, everybody's welcome. Come in, y'all. If y'all think she's gonna get jumped by me and Jasmine, y'all can bring y'all asses in here too. It's not an issue. Nobody wants to come in. Everybody's sitting out there talking about how I'm so scared, I'm all talk. But your friend lived with me for 5 months and never tried no shit like that. She ain't even really raise her voice, like, please. Like, she started raising her voice at the end, but that's about it. Like, and why would you think I would be scared of somebody that tiny? Like, it's nothing. Basically, the whole time she's jumping around, I wanna fight, I wanna fight, no, I wanna fight. And my brother's like standing right here in front of us. When I tell you, all she had to do was reach over and hit me, yet this girl is bouncing around screaming, not doing a damn thing but saying that she wants to fight, but has not hit me once. And I'm just like, okay, well, I mean, clearly this isn't gonna happen, because like, this is one of those pointless fights. my brother basically says, y'all need to fucking go because I'm gonna call the cops on you. I'm just kind of like, no, don't call the cops, because I'm just really waiting for the girls to hit me. There's still never been a hit. Like, she hasn't even reached over. She hasn't even lunged at me. She's just been jumping around the whole time talking about she wants to fight, putting on a show for the guys who are downstairs, the guys that I didn't want to fight in front of who are watching. She's putting on a show for them. And then eventually they're like, let's go, because she's all talk. I'm like, right. I mean, that's why you waited until after you left to try to fight me. So, y'all, that is what happened. I have not heard from her since. I know she got on Snapchat that night and was talking about, people are scared of me, blah, blah, blah. And whoever wants to fight, call me right now. I'm ready. Okay, like... okay, be tough after you leave. That's how it works, right? So yeah, basically that's what happened with my last roommate. So as you all can guess, I'm not gonna be having any more girl roommates because, well, aside from Jasmine, we're clearly the only people who can live together and only people with a right state of mind at this point. And so I'm not gonna be living with any more girls. My brother has moved in, which I'm very happy about, and I'm just so happy that I don't have to deal with any of the bullshit anymore, because these girls was giving me a headache. And like, I'm gonna still be Deanna, I'm gonna still be fabulous, and everybody's still gonna watch this video and be like, oh my god, no, that's not what happened. She really didn't want to fight her. She was really scared. Y'all, now come on, what I look like. So thank you all for watching. I know y'all probably like, she always has roommate issues, and y'all probably right, and some of it's probably me, but the majority of it ain't, and I don't have time for it. So look, y'all, this is what I'm gonna tell y'all: don't get a roommate. Don't do it unless you really know that person. Don't get a roommate, because these girls, But thank you all for watching. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe. Your opinions are welcome, but don't be mad when I give mine back. Thank you all so much. Bye.